Hey, everybody. Hope all is well out there in the world. Little feeble first ever time attempt at dire straits back there. Anyways, I hope everything is going well out there in the world. I've got some good news to share with you. I'm very pleased to report that we finally raised the minimal $8,000 necessary on GoFundMe. It's actually less than that, but we actually raised the minimal amount that we need to replace the SLJ van. So let me just say, thanks to all of you out there who pitched in. Like 257 people donated. I don't know what the average is. I think it was probably close to about $28 or $30 or something, which is what Bernie was raising per donation back 4 or 8 years ago. So with inflation, I guess that's about right. Whatever. Thank you. Let me say, we can finally start looking for a van. We still have to raise a little bit of additional money for this to fly outside of the Rust Belt to get the vehicle and drive it back. So that'll be probably maybe $1,000 or something. But whatever. With any luck, we'll have the new SLJ van by around the end of the month is what I'm shooting for. So thank you. A couple other announcements. We are meeting with legislators across the country. It's most important that we meet with Republican legislators this session. By the way, if you're new to the group, we're welcome to Student Loan Justice. We are firstly non-partisan group. We're only trying to solve the student loan problem. That's it. We don't align ourselves certainly with neither the Democrats nor the Republicans, nor any other political party for that matter. So whatever your political stripes may be, you're more than welcome on this group. Forewarned, we will say terrible things about your party and many candidates in your party, the chances are, because both parties have betrayed and abandoned us on this issue, I would say. After 18 long years of fighting this battle, I just have to call it what it is, guys. We tell the truth on this group, no bullshit. So that is the truth. And so, yeah, you're welcome here, whatever your political stripes may be. So far this year, I think we've met with around 10, 12, something members of Congress, including senators. I think a little over half of those have been Republican. We need to do this a lot more, ladies and gentlemen. So wherever you may be, if you have a Republican Congress person, if you have a Republican senator, can you please make it your mission to get us into a phone conference with them, with their judiciary staffers? That's the most important person who we need to talk to right now. So this is especially true if you have Republican senators or Congress people. But Democrats as well. Frankly, I would like to have conferences with all 535 members of Congress, if at all possible, and as quickly as possible. So please get on that, guys. We can be doing this way more often. Right now, it seems like we're only doing 1 or 2 a week. We should be doing 2 or 3 a day. So please get on that if you forget everything I said tonight. But if you have any questions or comments tonight, I'm happy to respond to them on air, in situ, as they say. So I'm going to dial in your comments now and just see what comes in. If you're new to the group, we're fighting for 2 things. Number one, by far and away, the most important thing we're fighting for is the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. Very few people should actually have to file for bankruptcy when we get the right returned. Having the leverage of bankruptcy is by far and away the most important thing that needs to happen with all student loans, whether you have federal or private. The core of this injustice is the unconstitutional stripping of constitutionally enshrined bankruptcy rights from the loans. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. Few people should have to. We've got to get that leverage back on our side. So no matter what you want to see happen with your loans, I know some people want to see their borrower defense to repayment application processed correctly. I know some people want the public service loan forgiveness. Some people want the income-based repayment or any of the other IDRs to actually work. Some people, and this is the second thing that we're fighting for very hard, some people are done. In fact, most people are done. And these loans need to be canceled. Well, I'm here to tell you that with the threat of bankruptcy back on our side, the president pretty much has to, and the Secretary of Education pretty much have to cancel student loans broadly, widely, deeply, maybe even totally. No president wants to preside over the largest wave of bankruptcy filings in American history. And so having the threat of bankruptcy back on our side means everything. It lies at the core of everything, no matter whether you would ever or never file. We've got to get the leverage returned. So the second thing we're fighting for, as I said, is student loan cancellation. The president has all the power to cancel every nickel of federally owned student loan debt without needing congressional approval, without needing appropriation, without needing one dime from the Treasury, and without adding even a nickel to the national debt. Despite all the nonsense you see in the media right now around the Biden cancellation, which is lame and feckless, by the way, we see all the critics saying, oh, this will be costly for the American taxpayers. No, it will not be. The taxpayers have made their money back on these loans by and large. Every nickel could be canceled and the taxpayer would be breaking about even. There may be a tiny little bit of cost there, but probably not. And I can tell you more about that if you're interested and curious. But for now, I think I'm going to keep it rather short tonight. I usually don't do Tuesdays, but our fearless co-leader, Ed McKinley, is on leave of absence at the moment. So I'm just kind of filling in for him. So yeah, guys, I'm glad that we're going to be able to hit the road soon. I'm glad that we're going to be able to hit the road soon. I thank you all for pitching in. If you haven't pitched in, I would still urge you. As I said, we increased our goal there by a couple $1,000. And I think if even like 50 people were to donate $20, is that right? I think that's right. That would be $1,000. So that would be very helpful this time. Anyways, I see a bunch of comments out there. Hey, Matt, Joanna Kearns is with us from Florida. Gordon Wayne Watts is with us also from Florida. Florida is a very important state, by the way. So Gordon Wayne Watts says, shit, I kept looking for the live stream. Okay. What song? Oh, you missed a pretty poorly done version of Dire Straits. Money for Nothing, I believe, if you remember. If you're a certain age, you will remember that video. It was very seminal back in 1984, I think, or 5. So Joanna says, good evening. I just finished getting the names of Republican leaders in Ohio. I will be getting your tweet to them, Alan Collins. If I can do it, the other members of this group should be as well, busting their tail. Thank you, Joanna. Joanna does Our Daily Actions every single freaking day, and I salute her for that, and you should salute her for that. But, I don't think Joanna necessarily wants a pat on the back. I think Joanna would be far more happy if everybody would thank her by doing the daily actions themselves. So if you go to our website and you go to our daily actions, and if you've never done a daily action, you should do the past 2 weeks worth of our daily actions. They're quick. They require not more than like Twitter, I think. And am I showing up backwards? I don't know why that is. Anyways, it is what it is. Studentloanjustice.org. You can see our daily actions. And please do them. You need a Twitter account. I hate Twitter. You hate Twitter. Everybody hates Twitter. But Twitter is actually handy for reaching out in with large numbers of people. So we have large numbers of people on paper, by the way. We have about 1.4 million members across our petition, our Facebook, and our email, and our Twitter, and all our other platforms. But, that's meaningless, guys, unless everybody fights together. If everybody were to do our daily actions every day, 1.4 million people overwhelming the Twitter accounts of decision makers, 1.4 million people melting the phone banks in Washington, D.C. Can you imagine how strong we would be? Well, if you want that to be the reality, and I hope you do, because these are your loans and this is your livelihood on the line here, you would do our daily actions. As I said, I see a lot of people out there fighting for loan cancellation and borrower defense to repayment, and they're fighting for public service loan forgiveness, all these things. All of those things branch back to bankruptcy. As long as the threat of bankruptcy remains gone, we can beg the president and the secretary of education all day long to be nice to us and do nice things for us. And they will not do it. They will do what they want to do. And what they want to do is make as much money off of our asses as possible. And as long as bankruptcy remains gone from us, as it exists for all other loans, by the way, uniquely stripped from student loans, they'll have us over a barrel, guys. 18 years we've been doing this. So you should take my word for that. As I said, we're a completely no bullshit group. All we care about is solving the student loan problem. And if you're of the same mind, if I'm a defaulted borrower, I can't speak for other people in the group, but I think 99% of people on this group have student loans, and probably 60% of them are defaulted on them. If all you care about is getting your student loans figured out, then you will fight with us. And I guarantee you, when bankruptcy is returned, all of a sudden, all those BDR applications that have been languishing for decades now, boom, all of a sudden, yeah, they'll get approved. It's amazing the fire you can light under the ass of a lender when they have to contend with bankruptcy laws. The Department of Education does not have to contend with bankruptcy laws like no other lender on earth. It has been given an unconstitutional, predatory stick of power. It's weaponized the loans. And by the way, we've been saying weaponized for years now, way before the Republicans glummed onto that keyword. And they've been giving a license to steal from you and from me. And we, the people, do not have to put up with this bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. You know, our forefathers fought and died for freedom for us, and this is not what that looks like. The founding fathers are on our side. You know, every generation has its own battle, and at least among the 43 million, 85% of whom were distressed student loan borrowers. That's federal student loan borrowers, probably closer to 50 million, closer to 45 million distressed borrowers for both federal and private loans. This is our battle. This is your battle, and you can't unhear that. Now, for whatever reason, we on this group right here, Student Loan Justice, we are the eye of that storm. We are the front line in that battle. We are the reason that student loan cancellation by executive order even became a thing in the first place. That all started here with our petition. Maybe you signed it. Nobody was talking about student loan cancellation by executive order before we were. We would not have had great bankruptcy legislation, including last session, which was a huge disappointment for us, guys. Last session, we came so close to getting bankruptcy returned to student loans, but at the 11th hour, the Democrats betrayed us. That's just true. Hate to talk bad about the Democrats, but like I said, guys, we're a fiercely nonpartisan group. We have to tell the truth. Republicans are evil. Democrats are like frenemies or something. So we pretty much hate both parties in different ways. So yeah. And, you know, Joanna also says, we deserve that and much more after they continue to treat us like subhumans. Right. When you take bankruptcy rights away, you give the lending side the ability to treat the people like shit. And I can tell you, there are some sociopathic people among our opposition. And they have no problem. In fact, they want to conquer and enslave this country in debt. 1 in 5 U.S. adults has student loans. 85% of those people were never going to be able to repay their student loans. And that was true even before the pandemic. I kid you not. So we need you guys. And actually, if you forget everything I say tonight, I know I said this before, but if you forget everything I said tonight, I'd say spread the word about this group. If you know 20 adults, then like, 4 or 5 of them have student loans, and 3 or 4 of them are losing sleep over their student loans, whether they tell you about it or not. So you know these people, and given the state of the media right now and for the past 5, 10, 15 years, maybe even longer. The media is not going to fight this battle for us, guys. And, we get lucky with the media from time to time. We've been featured on 60 Minutes and written pieces in the New York Times and blah, 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 blah. We've been through all that. And we go on the media fairly frequently. But I'm here to tell you guys, the media is corrupted. Just turn on the TV and what are you going to see? You're going to see Donald Trump getting arraigned. Now, I don't care where you lie on, where you stand on that issue. What does that have to do with the welfare of the American people directly? Nothing. See, that's the thing that the people who control the media, that's what they like to do. They like to stoke culture wars, the results of which, whichever way they go, have no ramifications for their bottom line, or maybe help their bottom line. And the wealthy elite in this country have never ever been, even including the 1920s, have never been in a better financial position than they are right now. They want the status quo. And by keeping us hypnotized and distracted by this palace intrigue bullshit, pardon my French, that's what they get. So please, don't be fooled. Don't be a fool. Don't be a chump for the nonsense. And don't expect the media to fight our battle for us. We the people, you and me and Joanna and Gordon and others on this group, we need to be fighting our battle on our own, because that's the only thing that has ever actually helped solve problems in this country. Normal people like you and me actually fighting. So, and as I said, guys, this group is pretty much it. If there was another group actually fighting this battle, I would join that group. We look around, we see the other groups, they're like, oh yeah, Supreme Court approved Joe Biden's loan cancellation. That's all bullshit, guys. I don't care which way that Supreme Court case goes. It's bullshit. Biden's loan cancellation was based on very odd law. He could have used the Higher Education Act as a basis. He didn't. He used this weird HEROES Act from 20 years ago that was enacted in the wake of September 11th and was only appropriate for national emergencies. And so whichever way that loan cancellation case goes, guys, we're still screwed unless you owe $20,000 or less. And if you're watching me, I'm pretty sure you owe a lot more than $20,000. And, that cancellation does nothing to actually solve the problem. It does nothing to reduce the price of college. And we don't so much care about what the next higher education system is going to look like. The current one is finished. Very few people. In fact, 60% of all borrowers were not making payments on their student loans before the pandemic. So today, almost nobody is, because of the repayment pause. Whenever they turn these loans back on, guys, I don't think even 20, maybe 25% of the people will resume paying. And that will decline precipitously in the weeks and months after they turn the loans back on, because people will go, oh yeah, I remember why I wasn't paying my loans, or I remember why I didn't want to pay my loans. Fuck that, I'm done. So that's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. In my humble opinion, it's not only unwise, but probably unwise, but absolutely unpatriotic for you to feed any more money into this lending beast. Lending systems fail from time to time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a new thing, not in American history, not in world history. Going back to not even 15 years ago with the subprime home mortgage crisis, going back 40 years ago to the subprime, or to the SNL scandal. Lending systems fail from time to time, and the federal student loan system is failed by all rational metrics. So this can have a good ending, and the good ending happens when more people fight with us to, number one, get the constitutional threat of bankruptcy returned. And after that, loan cancellation, fair administration, all the things that you want to see happen with your loans. Until we have that toothpick of power back on our side, we're not going to see anything meaningful. So, okay, guys, I think I've said my piece tonight. But please just remember what I said tonight. Get a letter to your editor published. Look on our Facebook group, up or down, and you can see some recent articles that our members have gotten published across the country if you need any pointers. By all means, email me if you want to send me a draft, and I can maybe proofread it for you if I have time. You can email me at Alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org. And as I said at the top, get us into a meeting with your representative or your senators, particularly their judiciary staffers. You can bring me onto the meeting and I will do all the talking if I have to. 202-594-1120 is my phone number. Alan Collins is my name. Email address is Alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org. Make a meeting happen. You're a constituent. You can make it happen. We cannot. We can only come in, and if you pick the fight, we'll throw the punches. How's that sound? And then finally, the thing I said at the very, very, very top, please donate if you can, guys. We can do this. We can do what we do on very, very little, but we cannot do it on nothing. And it would be good for us to not cease to exist. So, and that's always a constant threat on this group, it would seem. So just please help with that. I will be back tomorrow. We got this, guys. Take some heart. If you're here for the first time on this group, you came to the right place. We're glad you found us. You got to put in your own work on this group. This is not a pretend group. This is a real working, fighting group. And I think Joanna and Gordon and other people on the group will tell you it feels very good to fight this fight. And we need you. And as corny as it may sound, the country actually needs you. So do your part, step up, take heart. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless everyone.